Food thief will never steal someone's lunch again, by user Chaotic Forkingood. I worked in an office where there was a break room food thief who would not quit no matter how many angry meetings were held about it. For some reason, the thief really liked my sandwiches. So one day, I finally had enough, and I liberally doused my sandwich with the most ridiculously top Scoville rated hot sauce that I could find. Like so hot that the reviews from people who loved really spicy things were saying that they couldn't handle it. The thief didn't think anything was wrong, because I often put hot sauce on my sandwiches. We found out who the thief was really fast, because all of a sudden, an employee who I knew did not like me started yelling "Oh my God" again and again and trying to drink a million glasses of water. They never stole a lunch again. I paid for most of my brother's wedding just so our controlling family would have nothing to hold over his head, by user Zoroastrian. My 27M younger brother 21M and I grew up in a very overbearing, controlling family, and so did his wife 21F. I offered to help them pay for most of the wedding. They wanted to pay for some of it with their own money, on the condition that they don't allow anyone else from either our family or hers to contribute to the wedding fund at all, and then made sure they had full control over every single aspect of their wedding. Both sets of parents and some others in the family were pissed until they actually came to the wedding, then everyone claimed it was beautiful and that they loved it. Get fucked, narcissists. My bro and I finally won. P.S. I was the best man, but he asked me to be his best man before I ever offered to pay for anything. I would have been fine if he decided to ask someone else. I made damn sure he got everything he wanted, and I would have done the same whether he asked me to be his best man or not. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Thank you so much for all the awards, comments, and upvotes. Karen tries to cut in line at Disney. Sure, I'll get you kicked you out right before we get in, by user Wildcardmoose. A few years back I was at Disney World with some friends. Disney had just opened up Pandora, the world of Avatar. Needless to say, the line for the flight of passage was insanely long and looped throughout the park. We get in line and wait about 2.5 hours. While we're standing there and chatting, this Karen sneaks in with her husband and 2 kids immediately in front of us. Her kids point out to her that this is not the beginning of the line. She immediately shushes them and tell them that it's okay to cut the line because they have a flight to catch. The husband doesn't say a word. My friends were about to say something but I immediately stopped them. My friends look at me confused, to which I whisper, "Just watch and learn." We stand in line for about 45 more minutes until we're right at the entrance. That's when I decide to walk up to a security guard and tell him that this lady cut us in line and refused to go back to the end. I told him that I didn't want to cause a ruckus, so I waited until I found him so he can talk to her. Sure enough, the guard walks up to her and says that she cut the line. She freaks out on him and says that she didn't and that she's been standing in line for a while. He proceeds to ask her how long she has been waiting and she says over an hour, to which he replies the wait for this ride is at least 3 hours, so you must have cut in. She was puzzled and frustrated but realized she got caught, so she finally stops yelling and agrees to leave. As they escort her and her family out of the line, I look at her and say with a nice smile on my face, "Have a safe flight." Then I look at my friends and tell them, "And that's how it's done, boys." We still laugh about it once in a while. TDLR, Karen cuts in line with her family. I made her wait for 45 minutes before getting her kicked out of the line. Karen messes with my kids, I do the same back to her, by user Doublerinva. Sharing after posting in r/entitled parents, because it is also petty revenge. When my kids were preschoolers, we spent every summer morning at the pool. I had a bag full of toys that I took with us so that they could keep themselves amused. In about the July, a mom and her preschooler started coming to the pool. My kids were cool sharing their toys, since this kid had none with him. Cool, that is, until after about 2 weeks, he started demanding my kids' special toys that they were playing with. The entitled mom looks up from her book and starts berating my children for being mean and not sharing. She tells them to give their toys to her son. I reached over and took her book. When she asked me what on earth I was doing, and told me to give it back to her, I responded with her own words. Why was she being so mean? She should share. She lost her mind. I just kept on responding that what is good for adults is good for kids. So if she believes my kids are not entitled to the private use of their own property and are mandated to share with others, then she believes the same goes for her. She couldn't have it both ways. I asked her to choose a way she wanted to live. She packed up in a huff and we never saw her again. Be careful when starting a war that there's nothing to hide, by user Nonyabas Reddit. I sent my trespassing neighbors a cease and desist as they cut down trees on my property. She responded by sending me a letter from her lawyer, making up a big fat lie about me saying a bunch of foul language in front of her small child. It was her way of saying, if you take me to court, I'm going to attempt to damage your reputation with lies, as I work for a school. Her husband is running a business out of their home, has bought a vehicle exclusively for it, quit his real job and hired 2 people. Another neighbor told me this is all under the table to avoid paying taxes on the income the last 3 years. So I sent an anonymous tip to the IRS. Enjoy being audited, bitch. Update: litigation is currently ongoing regarding the trees, which are worth 6 digits. The laws are clear where I live, so I believe they are going to lose. They were cocky and didn't think I would notice because of where the trees were located. The IRS is the cherry on top.